Well, welcome, good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8, and this is part 28 of Let's Play The Letter. Wait, let's double check to make sure it's recording. Looks like it is. So we will continue from where we left off.
It's not mine.
No, I'll take it from here.
You don't have to do that. Zachary and I can handle this for a few days.
Both of you already had your turn with this. It wouldn't hurt to have another person helping out.
This isn't some sort of a competition, Ash. We're doing this because someone has to be here for her.
I'm not making this one. I just volunteered, didn't I?
I imagine Shrokin's gonna kill him.
Don't you have an investigation to finish?
And Zach has freelance gigs in line for the next few days. You have students to teach. Don't push it, Becca. All three of us have things to take care of on our own, but between us, it should be easier to find some time to...
Fine. Good. Do what you want. I love him.
I feel like for a frame, I saw the word "help me" written giantly across that hallway. But it was like only for a couple frames, so it was too fast for me to tell. But enough for me to be like, did I see something? Because I feel like I saw the word "help me" just spelled out in giant all across the entire hallway.
It doesn't matter now, does it?
Well, this is a completely different scenario. Luke, maybe? I think this is around the time we had normally run into Luke inside the shop of Kylie, but... Oh, hi, Zach.
Easy there, ma'am. For your, face.
I suppose if they had good affection for each other, it would actually be possible for Becca and Zach to hook up.
Thanks.
No problem. Take your time if you want. And, I'll just be here. Pretending I didn't see anything and, take your time. You okay? Flora almost had you there.
Yeah, thanks again. Sorry about that.
Nah, it is cool. Surprised me, though. Didn't think you could run that fast. But you don't look really well right now. Something happened?
No, nothing. Nothing important. I was just a little shaken, I think, from all that running. I'll be fine, Zachary.
Well, don't push yourself too hard, alright? I'm sure Bella will understand if you ever decide to take a break. Hell, she wouldn't want us fussing over like this. If you aren't feeling up to it, just say so. Let Ashton and I take over now. It ain't a big deal.
Oh, I'm sure Ashton would love that.
Rebecca, is everything really all right?
Well, maybe at some point I'm gonna try to make people nice to each other. But right now I'm trying to make everyone assholes.
As if it'll even make any difference.
Maybe not right now, no.
Then why still ask about it? Didn't Ash? There shouldn't be any problem now. You'll get your sleep. I'll finally get some rest. All while Ashton's doing whatever he wants. Everybody's happy.
Well, yeah. Kinda glad he had that covered even for just a night. If it was just the two of us, we'd be spreading ourselves too thin. I mean, you've got work, and I'm supposed to get back to that freelance stuff I left.
You don't have to spell it out for me. If we let him, he might even be willing to stay for the rest of the week or month. And I wouldn't be surprised.
But this ain't simply about those shifts, is it?
What do you even know?
Well, not pretty sure you can tell that already. And you don't really have to give me an answer. I'm not. Okay, here's the deal. I know you guys go way back. You two know each other far longer than Bella and I ever will. Nothing's gonna change that.
Easy for you to say. Apparently, those years aren't enough for him.
Be that as it may, whatever it is Ashton did this time, all I'm.
Are you being serious? You honestly think that'll work with him? Zachary? If these past few years.
I ain't asking you to just forget about.
What do you want me to do then?
Don't worry. I've seen how the two. What I'm trying to ask is, can you not do it in front of her? Not gonna butt in on anything. This ain't. Can you guys at least do what I asked? But yet take this somewhere else if you can't for her. Hey, Rebecca! About it. Frankly, I don't really understand what happened back there. I ain't sure if this'll help either. You might be the smartest guy I know, but there are times when... So, you don't have to do it, of course. That Ashton can be a bit... dense.
Irish stew. Just
Oh, so we just completely ignored that?
let me go, you uncouth lout!
I still don't understand why that's a negative. Okay, at least puts me more on the positive.
What is it?
Nothing too important. I met Belle's aunt, by the way.
I don't have to report. Besides, it's better this.
Her aunt's just
I wasn't implying.
I know. I talked to her. It's all right. If anything, in fact, she wants to see the three of us. If
Well, you said.
is that
Oh no,
No.
not my own black.
her having another bad week?
Maybe. What is it? To
Even
no, I'll
right. So
Is it...
no, her aunt said we could be there when they do, and I thought
Hang on. What does that mean? Is she okay now?
they won't know until they've lightened the sedation.
I won't promise anything, but I'll give my supervisor. Does Zachary already know?
Not yet. If I'll
How?
doing okay so far. They've reduced the sedation hours ago, but it'll take a while. The nurses are just monitoring her.
I don't know. He came in here hours before I did.
Is that a joke?
Yeah,
I'm If Isabella's got a problem with my morning...
You don't sound too worried about this. This is...
Yeah, I'd rather not lose sleep over this if I can help it.
Miss Santos! Miss Santos! Get rapid response here. Call for Doctors Nicholas and Beatrix stat.
Well, that's not good at all!
Chill, man. Let them do their work. Leave it to them. She's in good hands, so please, give those guys inside a little credit. They were able to save her the first time, yeah? It's not a code. She hasn't coded yet.
They're about to call a code on the fucking loudspeakers. Oh. I didn't expect to be right that fast.
Rapid response, room 49. Rapid response, room 49.
They didn't say the word code.
Dr. Nicholas Vogel and Dr. Beatrix Vogel, rapid response. Please head to room 49.
They at least didn't say the word code. Means it's okay, right?
I'm going to step out for a while. I need some air.
Ashton?
You should go after him.
What? And leave you here?
I can wait. And I don't think those guys in there would be coming out anytime soon. You'll just get bored. Besides, he listens to you.
Before, perhaps.
He still will. Nothing about that has changed.
He's a grown man, not a baby. I don't have to console him every time something upsets his manly ego.
but you know it can be one sometimes. Go on. I'll let you two know if anything changes here. And I get the sense you two still have a lot of, things to, talk about.
What's happening? Oh, I click OK. Interesting.
Don't worry about it. I'd knock some sense into him. He listens when it's you.
We'll see about that. Thanks, Sap.
Nah, take...
That coffee is going to get cold soon if you don't drink it. A waste of money, if you ask me.
You can have it if it bothers you.
No thanks. I already drank a cup this morning. Besides, their coffee here tastes like shite. I've had enough of it these past few days to last me a lifetime. I think they're using the same brand, you know? The one Isabella likes so much. We're both bad at this, aren't we?
You noticed that just now?
She'll get through this.
She's rubbing off on you.
Who? Belle? Please, we're poles apart.
A few years ago, maybe, but you're more alike than you think now. Otherwise, you wouldn't be saying that.
Maybe it's just Zachary. You know, the big guy can also be like that. It's what
You don't hang out with him that much, though. In fact, if another person were to look at you and Scaredy Cat, they'd probably think she's the childhood friend, not me.
Are you jealous then?
Not really. It's hard to be... when it's someone like her.
That's a bit of a dark way to turn your thoughts. Just saying. I mean, it's normal for people to think that sometimes, but...
I should probably tone down on the teasing after this.
Probably?
I might still do it, maybe once or twice a month. She makes the weirdest faces when she's annoyed. It's priceless.
But I'm sure she'd appreciate that. You were pretty merciless.
Yeah, I owe her an apology. For a lot of things. I think I will. Apologize. I mean, when she gets better. I just wish I could have said it to her a long time ago. I do care about her.
I know.
She's stable now, but they've placed her back in a coma. She'll be under observation for the rest of the day, so no visitors for now.
You are no longer welcome now. You won't show your face to me ever again if you know. Take her away.
He didn't have to lie to me.
Eventful night, huh?
You can say that again.
Let me guess.
Oh, what makes you think he's my...
It's just a guess. And,
Why does he have...
Like I always say,
Oh, you can bet your ass we're going... I'm not letting him off easy.
I'm sure he has a good reason. He won't say it, but he likes being around us. Heck, he ain't gonna ruin that for something stupid.
We'll see about that. I just want to go home.
Nah, sorry. I can't until the party ends.
It's all right. I'll see you later. What do you know?
Daisy, must you be everywhere?
We've only met 3 times, Luke. Quit the... Besides, shouldn't you be aware of who gets invited to your party?
If I was, there wouldn't be any of that scene tonight. That munter wouldn't even get an inch within this property. Did you just come out here to lecture me? Because, Daisy, I've had enough of it for once.
You are a very unpleasant man.
So I've been told. Will that be all? If so, I suggest you go back and join every...
You know, brooding over here isn't going to fix this mess.
Again with the lecture.
Will you stop calling it that?
Very well, what should we call this then? A heart-to-heart?
Actually, yes.
Please don't. I might puke. And just so you know, I don't want to talk about feelings. Ever.
This isn't one, all right? It's just a friendly concern. Bloody hell, can't you just take it for what it is?
Friendly concern, right. While we're at it, I should mention that Hana used to call that Viper friend. Now I think she might want to strangle the Munta if she sees her again, after she's done with me, of course.
I doubt she's going to do anything like...
What do you even know about this?
Oh, I know enough. You may look like a sleazy... But you have your few good moments. I might even say that you're a decent person, if I'm in the mood. Now go. If you really love her, you've got to try and fix this yourself.
Maybe tomorrow.
Luke!
Daisy, did you see her earlier? Was that the face of a wife who wants to have a chat with her cheating husband?
Oh, well, at least you admitted you did something wrong. Good for you. How about a star? Would you like a star to go with that good deed?
Don't get used to it. Do you realize how awkward this is?
Oh, I do. Don't worry, I was just about to... Feel free to continue with your brooding once I'm gone. I'm not going to tell anyone.
You think this is funny, Daisy?
Well, that's not good at all! So, about this. Well, this is a concern, isn't it? What, is she gaining strength as she kills people? We're dealing with fucking Freddy Krueger here. I have no idea what you would have robbed.
Someone has to tell that douche. Care to explain your reasons?
This again? It's been a week, Becca.
I thought we already agreed that. It's confidential, Rebecca.
Well, glad to hear you're talking to someone, at least. Even if it's not me. You sure you're not? You pointed that out yourself last.
Becca, even if I probably deserve that. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Not running today?
Oh, no. Just thought I'd... Onto what?
Maybe.
You are?
Well, I'm in a... But I'm not in danger or anything.
You've said that the same... Those circles on...
It's nothing like what you're... I was...
Is that... Liz wouldn't be too happy if... You ain't good, but... It's... And she said, I've just heard about it. Although, for what it's worth, I'm sorry about what happened to you. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. But it...
Professor, please. Please don't finish that.
This isn't a prank! I saw something! See? This is why I didn't want to tell you guys. It's not a joke. I saw something in the house or if I hadn't gotten away. But it happened after. We're all in.
Why don't... Oh. Yeah, why you?
Have you?
You.
Traffic can't handle the huge waste of tech. The people at Tech, how does that help?
Well, there must be some use in that alone.
Like, there was no one else. She just stopped. Just right, Zach, Isabella, or some.
Hey. It's late. Most just come back on Monday.
Really?
Boss man?
Sorry,
John?
the one and only. But this sucks. I didn't realize the office closed. I'm gonna get an earful later. Come on. You know how fickle the boss's moods. Please. Yeah. Besides, the longer I take here, the riskier. This. No fuss, no muss. What the? Son of a...
Hello there.
Are you kidding me? Anyone there? I can hear. This isn't. This isn't in my fucking training manual. Damn it! Damn it! Fucking hell! about it won't change anything, though. She's just toying with our lives. Becca, it's Ash, your girlfriend. So if you could,
Rebecca Gale. Oh.
Hey. Damn it. Wait. What? No. That. At least she knows not to use the most common ones.
This is where we find the notebook.
Probably why she dumped it.
Eat noodles, sleep. What?
Badge, a gun, and I can't even protect my...
You said it was urgent. Did anything?
Well,
And what do you...
Being a jerk.
Zach, we agreed you won't...
Really, Ashton? That's what you're gonna greet me with? No, what's up, Z-Man? I just biked through almost an explanation, and I'm...
You ended on you the slap. You like Zach, it's all... Beck, no.
You're the-
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still...
Hey, Zachary. What's happening over there?
We'll tell you once...
I don't...
You okay? You're limping. Let... Oh, is... You... Let... We aren't... Any... Get... We can't stay here.
If you
Don't. No.
You trying to drink your worries away?
Is it possible to get that friendship bar all the way to 0?
You trusted me with even more confidential stuff before. What? What makes this any different now, huh?
It's not your help.
Hello.
Why are you staring at me?
Nothing.
I know that look. You wouldn't.
Really? It's just that you've changed a lot.
What did you?
What I'm trying to say is, I think I like this version of you more. Except when you're mad. You're pretty.
Well, also, if you're just going to complain. You have a plan in mind, don't you?
No.
You don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, that was negative. Granted, we're still maxed out, but no.
I need to head off somewhere tonight.
That's a nice way of saying it.
Keep your.
Okay.
Hey, scared again. I'm going to fix.
Okay. So here's the thing. Up till now, every single time we've gotten, beaten by the fucking judo butler, Isabel's been the one to save it.
Isabella?
And what about her? It's the first time she's ever been dead.
She warned you, didn't she? And you think you deserve even an ounce of her love? How dare you even confess your wretched feelings on her bedside? You can't even save her. You can't even do anything for her.
You're the one who took that letter off Isabella's hand then.
Who could tell my friends what might have happened here? You know the place, right?
Because Isabella can't save us this time. If she does, then holy shit, this game is committed to Isabel being the one saving her. Oh god. I'm very worried about this.
Did you really think she'd be here?
Oh god, that's dark! Oh god, that's dark! Oh! Oh! That is, oh god, that is dark. It's gonna get worse because we're gonna see Ash, like, strangled to death. Oh god, that is dark. Oh god, that is dark.
I assure you, it will be more painful than this.
Ashton, Frey!
Yeah, it's definitely
Did you really think she'd be here?
Yeah! I've literally seen her in that hallway with a rolling pin and a taser. Saved my life like 50 times. Words that, although I know my own friends won't ever utter, still digs a deep wound, seeping as if they are simply another truth.
It's useless, Ashton and Frey.
Actually, this might be the first time you're actually right, demonic voices. But repeat a line often enough, it becomes the truth, they say, and slowly a part of me is starting to believe it. Is Zach or Becca or Marianne gonna save me?
Going to die.
I think we are.
Shut up.
We are being strangled by the fucking...
I'm surprised you're still awake.
So... people are talking about the new Hitman game on VR.
You're
You know
going to lose air quickly that way, Dummkopf. Better keep it shut.
Oh. Can we talk about this, Shroken? I am not your enemy, Shroken.
You are going to die alone.
I'm obviously not alone. I'm being strangled by Shroken. And... okay, we actually managed to beat him. We out-judoed the butler. Half his size. What is he, like almost 7 feet tall?
For a while. With the stairs this steep, a broken neck is a likely out. Oh shit. Scumbag would be. Ow! Foot!
Oh, hi guys, you did show up.
Zach, I said 4,
I know, but Rebecca asked.
and it didn't even occur to you to.
I tried, all right? Even G. She was out the door before.
Did you really think you could hide this?
I had to, Becca. And how did you guys even.
Someone was screaming, Ash. It led us here.
We need to get out of here. Go ahead.
And really, Daisy?
Luke, this isn't.
Well, obviously. What about the photographer over there then? You were the photographer. What's your excuse? Checking. Oh, we're doing good.
Please, sir.
Oh, please, what?
Rebecca's right, sir. We ain't here to harm.
Not a good excuse, especially coming from you. Let's simplify it. You people are the. Don't worry. I might consider. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now. I swear the people of. This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a.
Whoa, this is new. Okay. What? This is completely different. At the top of the staircase, Hannah Wright stands. Okay. I mean, she's still wearing her Evans necklace, so she isn't possessed this time.
Help me. Please.
Okay. Excuse me, Luke? This is a wholly new... This is not how your line starts, Luke. What? What? Oh, okay, we're at this scene? Well, yeah, if someone's having a seizure, you're not supposed to stop them, really. Because, I mean, I've heard that it can make it more likely that they're going to break a bone. You're mainly just supposed to move hard things out of their way so they don't hit those objects. It's supposed to be the way to minimize the amount that they hurt themselves. But obviously people panic.
What happened here? Who did this?
I don't know. I am so
Shh, it's all right. You're safe now.
Huh. This is completely different.
Please.
Of course. Anything for you, sunshine. Do you want any water? Something to nibble? Soup would be good, right?
I'm fine, Luke. Don't you worry.
Well, that's wholesome.
There we go. Now, are we comfy?
Sing me a lullaby.
A lullaby? Of course. I can do that. Hush, my darling, don't say a word. I'm gonna catch you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, I'm gonna get you a diamond ring.
Actually, in the other version of the story, you just go drink in Ireland.
And if that diamond ring turns brass, we're gonna go to fields of grass. And in those fields where we roam, we'll take daffodils for our home. And if those daffodils die and wilt, we'll still have the home that we built. sunshine.
Mommy, what happened? You were wiggling and shaking, and you wouldn't stop even if I was shouting. I'm so sorry I shouted at you, Mommy.
Shh, don't cry. My little bowl of sunshine's not supposed to cry, is he? Don't you worry. Mommy is just a little sick, but she'll get better. I've got a new job now, and I can get medicine again, okay? And we'll buy some bread pudding, too, while we're at it.
Bread pudding is terrible.
Please don't do that again, Mommy. It's scary.
It's okay. I'm here. You've got nothing to fear. But you have to be brave, too, Lucille. Even when I'm not around. Be brave.
Okay.
It's cold. Don't hog the sheets, Hana. Don't make me pull those sheets off you. That blanket is large enough to cover an elephant. You need to share.
What was that, honey? Apologies. I'm just in the loo, so if you can give me a moment.
Oh! That's not Hannah! Or is it? Or maybe it is Hannah. After all, the ghost has made people hallucinate things. Maybe that's Hannah, and the ghost is trying to trick him into stabbing Hannah in the blanket. Huh. That's hilarious. There's no boogeyman under the bed, no monster in my closet. If anything, these things should be afraid of me. Right? I grab a fistful of sheets and throw them aside. And nothing. Blue balls of horror. But like, dear, why are there stab wounds in all the pillows? They were looking at me. What the fucking hell? Okay.
Where's that damn? What? It's oh, I'm
Oh. Okay. Rotis. Okay, good job. Actually, doesn't look like something I would normally have for breakfast, so at least looks like it's well made. Isn't ackee a Jamaican food? Also, if you prepare it wrong, it can make you very sick.
Good morning. What's up?
I made breakfast. In hindsight, I probably should have prepared something a lot healthier for you.
What would actually be considered healthy then? I mean, are you just concerned that in her illness that heavier food like that's not going to settle in her stomach?
Oh, don't you fuss. This is absolutely perfect. A little grease isn't going to kill me. Feels like forever since I last had your cooking.
I don't see what you're so enthusiastic for. I'm no master chef. I won't be too mad if you tell Johans to cook something else for you. That just means more for me, of course.
Oh, I don't think I can finish this all. But I should, shouldn't I? After all, I am eating for 3.
Speaking of you 3, what did Dr. Hobbs say? How are you and the babies?
The physician took some of my blood. We'll go through some other tests tomorrow to make sure we're fine. I know how you hate hospitals, so I asked Johans to drive me there.
Admit it, you just want to leave me alone with a little tyke without any back.
Don't be like that. You'll do fine, I'm sure.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to say about this. I believe both are technically okay.
I'm just worried about you, Hana. You sure you don't want me to go with you to the hospital tomorrow?
That's a negative? Oh, well, I'm still pretty positive, but I'd rather go full positive if I can.
I'm just worried about the children, Hana. I know you can take care of yourself just fine. You're one tough cookie.
Oh, because saying you're worried about her trying to is basically saying that you're, thinking that she can't handle it. But that's not what the intention is. I mean, she's the person you love and care about, so the point is that you care about her. But also you care about the kids. Technically, both are valid points. And both are well-meaning.
Look at you, already becoming a great father. One day, when the kids are all grown up, I'll tell them the story of how their dad is being a great big worrywart. Just leave being pregnant to me, alright?
Still can't believe it, I didn't think it would ever happen. We're going to have kids.
How are you feeling about it?
That's normal. All parents feel that way. Well, I mean, you are a mob boss.
I'm all right. You're good. I'm not the one carrying a pair of brats around in my belly, am I? Just think about it. 2 tiny humans are inside of you and you're going to swell up like a watermelon. If you can get through this, so can I. Come on then, sunshine. Eat up. Can't have any of you starving on my watch now, can I?
There's a lot of directions that could go in, and I'm not even going to.
Johans, look after her. Everything is good. Really. Best I've ever felt in quite some time.
Well, I think that's cause for concern. Shall I expect to find a corpse in need of clean?
I think those flowers look beautiful, my lord. The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea, it could certainly use some.
Whoa! This is the first time you've not looked that way. You know, like covered in blood and gore from your horrific murder. And other things that happened to you. But still, it doesn't excuse you murdering everyone else. But this is the first time you actually looked non-threatening. Every other time, it's just absolute hatred and violence, and I'm like, well, you're intended to make us scared. That being said, that's the first time we actually heard her voice in a... Well, I mean, technically the cutscenes, but those are in, well, terribly pained situations.
I think those flowers look beautiful, my lord. The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea, it could certainly use some. I think those flowers look beautiful, my lord. The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea, it could certainly use some. I think those flowers look beautiful, my lord. The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea, it could certainly use some.
This is the first time I've actually seen kindness in you. And I feel pity and sadness at the horrific things that happened to you that robbed you of your gentleness. That being said, at this point, I'm used to almost 60 hours of you killing everyone, with me seeing the first-person shooter perspective. Okay? So, I will say this. The kindness and gentleness in you at this moment is precious. And honestly, when it comes to a partner, whether it be a man or a woman, that kindness and gentleness is the most important personality trait any human being can have in any situation, most of all in a partner. Just that kindness and gentleness. That is the most precious thing that you can have in somebody that you have at your side. And I'm sorry that, well, the horrific things you went through that robbed you of that gentleness and kindness. I'm just...
Didn't you get the memo? Are you new? Today is a day off. You aren't supposed to be here.
Oh, no. I've been a servant here since you first came.
Yeah, I mean, it does ring forth with a lot of sincerity. But I say it again, gentleness and kindness are the most important traits a human being can have in any walk of life, or any kind of friendship. Most of all in romantic love. But I guess that's one thing I dislike in a lot of humans. When I interact with a lot of people, it's too easy to encounter that kind of malice. In society, the news, people I run into the store, the things they say to me, hell, times where I'd be walking on the sidewalk and things, people would throw things at me from outside their car windows. Being spit on.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I shouldn't have bothered you.
Screamed
Look at
at.
me, talking to the master of the house without even asking for permission. What will the others think? If you'll excuse me, I'll just...
People outright
I
threatening
haven't
me.
driven you away yet, have I? And it's your day off. I don't see why we can't chat a bit.
Of course. If that is what you wish. As long as it does not get you into trouble with the lady. To even take time for someone as lowly as me. No wonder that everyone under the mansion's employ is so fond of you. Though it should have no longer been a surprise to me. You have always been such a kind and loving lord.
Decent compensation. I'm not cheap. Okay, I can agree with that.
I'm sure she'll be fine with this. We are just talking.
Though I'm
after
kind of
all.
used to the idea of
Unless you
a lot
had
of times
other
they
things on your mind when you
compliments.
approached me.
Oh. That is suggestive. Yeah, I would panic a little too saying something like that. You shouldn't be doing that at all. You're married. But there's certainly nothing wrong with talking to people and have friends. I do disagree with
I
that.
know it must be amusing to see a girl flustered for a man of your stature. But please don't say such things, my lord. I saw you alone and simply thought you could use some company.
So how are you liking your work around the mansion? The place is wonderful, but I imagine the upkeep is ungodly with all the rooms and whatnot. I don't even want to think about how many people are on the staff roster.
Work is work, my lord. It is a way of living, a purpose from day to day. It is certainly far better than doing nothing or having no food to eat. The house itself is also beautiful. There's no lack of things to look at. I'm sure you've seen those books in the study.
I can't read any of them yet, but if given the chance, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be thinking of those things. Especially when the rains, they might bring more work to us soon. It will definitely be much more difficult when it returns. Idling about is the least I should be doing.
I guess you can put it that way if you want to be brutally honest about the whole thing. And the rain shouldn't be a problem. Hopefully. Maybe.
The rain is something I simply must get accustomed to if I am to live here. I've not spent long in this place after all, but I have been told that it has rained in this nation since a mother's time and their mother's time.
What nation are you supposed to be from?
I am just glad to have time in the sun, even for a short while.
What nation?
Isn't that the truth? Really, these sunny days have been welcome, though I can't imagine they'll last for long. Sometimes I just want to pack my things and leave for somewhere like, say, the Bahamas or whatnot. Get some sun and surf.
But certainly, you will return for us, won't you? This is your home, after all. Your people. They won't be pleased if the master of the house leaves.
Of course, I can't very well leave my businesses hanging here, can I? I just wish I could actually trust people enough to go on vacation without taking work with me. I've also got to get back here if I ever want proper meals. A proper pudding is something you'll never find out there.
And good tea. From what the cook has been telling me, I've yet learned how to prepare one. Perhaps once I do, it would endear the lady of the house to me. I never expected her to be so unkind after what she did for me. Though it's only if one catches her in a foul mood. I wish I knew how to avoid her anger.
That is unusual. I feel like we're going to see the kind version disappear in a second. But the kindness and gentleness here. Then why do you still employ that person if they hate you? Well, I mean, that's actually true of a lot of people, but for that specific reason, at least that's not due. Well, that's just... What? Still...
Nobody really gets along with that woman. I think everyone just tolerates her because of how old she is. I mean, not to be rude or awful or anything, but she's at the age where she'll be pushing daisies soon enough.
Is she? Really, my lord? I'm sure the lady is much younger than that.
I think the thought of tormenting the young and beautiful gives her reason to live.
It does seem that way. though I feel sorry for her. One's life should not be wasted away on hatred and anger. It is never good for the heart or the head to always carry ill thoughts.
That is true, I agree with that completely. If only your tormented ghost felt the
I'm
same.
certainly so lucky to have a lord like you. The lady even more so. The gods smile down on her. Though, if I may be honest, she is to be envied.
Possibly. Because like I said, I've seen up to close to
It's
60
strange I've
hours.
never seen you before. What's your name?
Emily.
You do not remember?
I don't believe you've mentioned it, or am I missing something?
You still cannot comprehend it, can you, my lord?
You start sounding a little anger. It sounds like you're starting to get angry. I'm expecting the angry ghost.
Whatever your name is, and no matter how long you've been working for us, that does not change the fact that you shouldn't be here. I'll call you a cab to bring you to the city if you want.
Shouldn't I? What if I do not wish to leave?
Oh dear.
I merely desire to stay by your side and serve. Is that such a deplorable thing?
Yeah! Now I'm worried. Would I be worried if it wasn't for the music? Obsession in her eyes. Yeah, not the good sort. Her scrutiny makes me feel like I'm laid bare. Like, it's one thing. It's the offness in her presence is all the more palpable with the feeling of bugs crawling my skin, the silence that makes it seem as if the world has stopped. Like, I'll say this. Men do want someone to show them attention and affection. We do want that. And honestly, I think that's true of all people. Whether you're a man seeking the companionship of a woman, or apparently me, dealing with gas, I guess, as I burp. Or if you're a woman seeking companionship of a man, I'm sure you like the attention and affection from a man, or a man from a man, you want attention and affection. Or a woman from a woman, attention and affection. No matter what, in any partner or anyone you have, you want attention and affection, and you want kindness and gentleness in that person. Most of all toward you. To be treated with respect and love. And of course to give it back in kind. But there's a difference between, someone caring about you and loving you and obsession. Because I'll say this. As much as I've been lonely a lot of my life, and as much of, I've gone through probably 10,000 plus rejections from women, I've gotten turned down so many times, I've also turned down women, but mainly for, one, if they were married or in a relationship, I'm not about to violate someone else's relationship. Two, if I'm in a relationship, I'm not going to, cheat on my spouse or my partner, even if I do spend most of my time without one. And thirdly, if I see some sort of major red flag, that's a major concern for my safety. Granted, I have been in relationships that turned badly, but in those situations, usually that person, when it came to the breakup, it was, they had already cheated on me. So that made that a lot easier. Even when they were the stalkerish type that was super obsessed with me, they were still the one who also cheated on me, which still doesn't make sense to me. Which is kind of funny then when you also have that person try to, beg you to take them back, and you're like, no, you fucked other guys, And you've done numerous things that actually terrify me more than any scary movie or scary video game I've ever done. Because in the end, at least I can always say this is just a video game. But a crazy Stalker X, let's be clear, even a lonely, pathetic, sad person like me who can't hardly get a date half the time, even men like me have ran into those women who are overly obsessed with them. Even though the breakup was, they were cheating on me and also doing violent shit and other stuff that was just almost like out of a fucking creepypasta. I swear, some things in my life I really do feel like I could actually write memos from my fucking book called My Average Life, and it would just be like creepypastas at this point. And that's one thing. Like, I believe in God, but I disagree with some stuff in the Bible, and there's some stuff that doesn't make sense. But that's mainly because just because I believe in God doesn't mean I have to agree with every single thing that he says. Because in the end of the day, it's this: God wants us to have our own independent wills. We're not puppets. He didn't make us to be puppets. I have my own choices about things. I can make decisions about right and wrong myself. Yes, I am thankful that I live, that I'm alive, that I was born in the first place. And hell, if it wasn't for modern medicine, I probably would have died 100 times over by now. I mean, I'll say this. I have a few friends that are really good fighters that have been in a ton of fights. That being said, I know one friend, I don't want to say his name, because I don't want to draw any attention to him, even though nobody knows who I am, but that's mainly just because, I don't want to draw attention to the people in my life that, say him. He's had some situations in his life, and I don't want to draw stuff on him, but more importantly is, I bitch and complain a lot in these videos. And I sometimes show emotions, or talk about how, my ex-wife was abusive to me. A lot of times, when I go to work and stuff, no one can tell I'm depressed. I go, as far as everyone can tell, I'm the most optimistic person they ever fucking met. I have perfect attendance at work for years at this point. Hell, I'm probably going to get another one of those little certificates for having perfect attendance for another year here soon. So, I've had perfect attendance for going on 3+ years now at this point or something? It's just, and I'm nice to everyone. No one at work's ever heard me get angry or yell or cuss. Occasionally I'll say a small cuss word in a happy tone to somebody who's having a bad day to make them laugh, and I'll usually succeed at it, and I'll make a chuckle out of them. But when it comes right down to it, is this: whether I go to Walmart or some public place or around people in general, I try to just go around with a fucking smile plastered on my face, with a kind, jovial tone with everyone. I also tend to be very passive, non-confrontational. Even to the point that if someone does say something mean and hurtful to me, I tend to just let it go, rather than call them out on it. There's very few times in which I have let my anger just immediately erupt out, but that was usually say if I went to a bar and there was 3 guys who basically decided they saw somebody else, somebody of a darker skin color, and they yelled the N-word. And I was not okay with that. And I made sure that they were aware that I was not fucking okay with that. But of course, that quickly was going to start to a fight. But thankfully, most of the other people in the bar, kind of agreed with me. Thus, I didn't get my ass kicked that time. But I'll say that my friend who's been in fights, he's an amazing fighter. He's a really good fighter. Granted, I haven't seen him in forever. But he has multiple things that have happened to him in his life that were absolutely horrible. It's just, I have too. It's just his reaction to it was different than mine. His reaction to people hurting him, especially when other times of his life, is he reacted very violently to people that were much bigger than him with, like, you know, he got bats and crowbars, knives and guns, and he never had to deal with police for that sort of stuff, because usually there was alternating circumstances with that. But when it came right down to it, he's been in probably a couple hundred fights, and he's won every single one, even if he was outnumbered, even if the person was bigger than him or more heavily armed. Me, on the other hand, I'm not a good fighter, and I've been in more fights than he has. Granted, it's been well over a decade since I've actually been in a proper fight, but that's mainly because I've gotten very good at avoiding situations that are confrontational, at noticing small changes in body language. Perhaps some people could call it hypervigilance. Some people might call it paranoia. I mean, after all, I live alone on a second floor where I live, and yet, even though my front door and everything's locked and I have weapons to protect myself, when I go to sleep, my bedroom door is locked. And I put all of my dumbbells in front of my bedroom door, so that if somebody were to break the lock, they would still have to struggle pushing the weights to get in. And then I also put a folding chair in front of the door, but not right up next to it. I have it weigh a little bit with a little bit of metal sticking out, so if somebody were to bash the door through, it should click on the metal to make a noise to wake me up. Now that definitely may come off as extreme paranoia, to the point that also a lot of times if I'm in a public place, I look at everyone with the potential that any one of them at any time may try to kill me, and I need to be prepared to kill them to stay alive. Yes, I understand most people are just bored people, going about their day, stressed out, just not even caring that I exist. To them, I may as well be invisible. But it's lingering feelings I have from lots of things. Partly because of when I was in school, I got bullied a tremendous amount. I mean, to the point that people would throw things at me. Sometimes actual piss and shit. Like actual poop and actual urine. Or hard things at me, like books, or baseballs, or sticks of deodorant, or chairs, or push me down the stairs, or into a locker, or knock me face first into a radiator. Stuff like that. And it wasn't even just an everyday thing. It was like an every single hour thing. Eventually I got to the point I learned to keep my head down if possible, because a lot of times if I looked at people in the eye, they would come up to me and start yelling and screaming at me. They would threaten to hurt me. They would start hurting me. My friend, we didn't go to the same school or anything, but he ran into similar things too, both with not school things and non-school things, just like I did. But his reaction was different. He's, like I said, he's been in a couple hundred fights, but he won every single one. He's tenacious, brave, and I'll say this, he is fast on his feet. And I'll say this, I am not going to say his name, because, like I said, one of the biggest reasons I don't want people out there to know who I am is this. I bitch and complain about the stuff that makes me sad and depressed here. Hell, I admit that I'm depressed on this damn channel. You know, the whole point of this channel is me not having to have a damn filter. Whereas in real life, I'm constantly going around with a fucking smile plastered on my face and pretending to everyone that I'm okay. Like I said, people at work, I'm pretty sure, can't even tell. You know, as far as they're concerned, I'm the most optimistic fucking person that they ever met in their life. And I'm the happiest, most patient, kindest person they ever met. I'm the person always training people when they get there to work. I'm the person they rely on to actually show up to work, to cover other places, to go between, like, oh, this area lost somebody, or this place had like 4 different people didn't show up for that area. Can you hop in there and help? You know? I'm deemed like the most reliable person, and that, you know, they like the job I do, even though I'm still constantly worried I'm going to fuck up and just, like, oh shit, I'll fuck up and I'll do a bad job, and then I'll lose my job, and then I won't be able to pay the rent, and I won't have a home anymore. Even though I mean, I have at least a little bit of money saved up now just because of all the massive overtime I was working for a while. But it's just, I still worry that, if something goes wrong, if something happens, if I fuck up. And I constantly feel like everyone hates me no matter where I go. And I just constantly worry that everyone hates me, that everyone would just be happier if I was dead. That I just bother people by being alive. And the main thing is this, I don't want people to know I'm dealing with that. I don't want people to know that I'm sad, that I'm depressed, that I feel that, you know that feeling you get when you watch a creepypasta? That feeling of scare? That's the way I feel all the fucking time! And it's just, yes, I react a little bit vocally when, like, the scary ghost stuff happens. I'm pretty sure we're about to see it right now, when this kindness and gentleness in this person is going to fade away, and we're going to see the fucking malice ghost. You know, the music is definitely setting that tone, guys. But I'm just saying, that at least, like, a lot of people out there watch scary movies or ride a scary, like, you know, roller coaster to feel that adrenaline rush, that endorphin rush, to help them feel alive. It's not the same for me. I watch the fucking scary movies, and I go on the scary rides, because that fear and terror I feel from that is less frightening to me than the things that I have dealt with in my life. And at least, at the end of the day, the scary shit, whether it be even Demonophobia, and the shit that was going on that when DDR Maniac was playing it, I at least have that rationale that that's a video game. And that unsettling terror of the video game makes me feel safe, because at least I could then just be worried or slightly paranoid about a thing that doesn't exist, as opposed to the things that do actually exist and have caused me pain and are real things that I feel powerless to deal with. At least with a video game, there's some amount of control. Like with Resident Evil, you have a gun or something. You have chainsaw. You have all this sort of shit you can do. You have save files so that if you do die, and you will multiple times, you can just restart. Real life, you die, it's fucking over. So at least by dealing with the fucking scary shit in the movies, or in this game, it actually helps me to be less scared of the shit out there in the real world that does frighten me and makes me feel helpless. And again, other things is this. A lot of times I feel that I just in general feel alone in the world. And the Let's Players, like watching Tierra Grace, would make me laugh. And, you know, I just don't feel as alone in the world. Same thing with DDR Maniac and his friend who did the little voice acting for Reese when he was playing with somebody else when he did Demonophobia. You know, I felt like I was just sort of chilling there with them as a friend. It helped me to not focus so much on the utter loneliness I feel even back then. And it's only gotten worse as not only numerous things have happened, let alone the COVID stuff, with the quarantine and everyone locked down, everyone's shutting down, you know, not official lockdown, but we'll probably go back to it. Main point being is this. The feeling of isolation just gets worse. But I'll say this. I would rather be alone as I am than ever be back with my ex-wife or any of the certain few exes I've had who were like crazy fucking psycho stalkers who treated me like shit and who were abusive. And hell, I've had multiple of them, including my ex-wife, try to beg me to take them back. And I'm like, fucking hell no. Even though part of me in my mind, considering what a sad, pathetic piece of shit I am, and how desperate I am for any kind of love or affection, part of me in my mind's like, you know, maybe I can trust that person. Maybe they got better. Maybe they'll be better this time. But at the end of the day, I'm like, no. I don't want to ever fucking see you again. And it's like, you are not ever welcome in any place I live. That's even true of my ex-wife. Like, she's not welcome anywhere. Even though she did try multiple times to try to beg me to take her back. I'm like, no. Fuck no. Because I'll say this. The reason I originally married her is because I loved her. And because I thought I could trust her completely. I actually felt that sleeping next to her was the safest place in the whole world. That she would never ever let anyone in the world ever hurt me. And that it would actually be a safe place to be. I felt safer around her than anywhere in the whole world. I felt that that was a place of safety and that I could trust her completely. Between the cheating and a lot of abuse and a lot of certain things that happened, doesn't even begin to scratch the surface. But going beyond that, certain other things she did that between seeming like she was basically being that's me just trying to avoid talking about an even darker thing. She was being negligent to our child. She was being extremely abusive to me. And during that time, my health was completely failing to the point that I got admitted to the hospital multiple times for my health, to the point where there were a few times where I had to spend a few days in the hospitals with them pumping all sorts of fucking chemicals in me to keep me from dying because my body was giving out on me. I managed to eat half a fucking Cheerio one day. My health was completely fucking failing me. I couldn't even get up to go to the bathroom. I at least didn't have to have a damn catheter or some shit. But I had one of those little weird bottle things that's like brownish clear and has the handle on the side with the big, like, giant, oversized Gatorade opening. I was at least able to gently roll over, because keep in mind, I got a fucking IV in my fucking left arm. And of course, every couple hours I keep poking more needles and changing the new, like, speed drips, because they gotta pump so much fucking saline and so much chemicals into me to keep my fucking ass alive. So, one, I'm feeling kind of weak to the point that I can't even sit up for more than 30 seconds without a pounding pain in my head to where it feels like everything fucking hurts. To where it's just, even just trembling to sit up for less than 30 seconds. Head, so much fucking pain. And just everything hurts. That it's like so much fucking effort to just sit up. And of course I have to gently move over because I have to piss. So I can't even sit up properly for that. I just sort of like roll over a little bit, have my arm outstretched so it doesn't mess with the IV in my left arm. And I just sort of, lift the bottle over to me and just sort of move my penis up a little bit so I can, dangle it into the hole a little bit so I can pee into it and try to hold it a little bit so I don't spill the fucking piss on myself. Don't entirely succeed there, but the main point is at least I didn't need a fucking catheter. But the main point is this. My self-esteem, sense of worth, sense of self-preservation, sense of anything was so fucking decimated at that fucking point. And like I said, my health was so fucking down between that and the multiple jobs that I was doing where I was basically breathing in mold. I was breathing in paint. I was breathing in metal. Thankfully, x-rays of my lungs showed everything's fine with that shit. But, hell, I was having exposure to gas. I was having exposure to certain other chemicals. Plus, there was a lot of times I was going without sleep. There were sometimes I would go to work at that job and pull like a fucking 11-hour shift. And then get 0 hours of sleep. Pull another 11-hour shift. Do some extra work somewhere else. Get maybe 1.5 hours of sleep. Go back for another 11-hour shift. Then get home, maybe get 3 hours of sleep. Pull another 11-hour shift. Then get home, get 0 hours of sleep. And then pull another 11-hour shift. And then just sort of after that, it's just eventually just shit doesn't just want to work anymore. Like, it's just, I can't hardly walk. And I know at one point with my son, like, there were a couple times I had to set him down to bed early just because I'd be in the hallway with him trying to, like, watch him, and I would literally just collapse against the side of the hallway. And and he'd be worried about me, and I'm like, it's okay. And I'd tell him, I had to go to bed early tonight. And it's just, my health just kept giving the fuck out on me. Plus, I naturally don't have the best sense of self-esteem. I can say right now I don't have good self-esteem. On the one hand, I feel like there's not going to be any woman out there who's ever going to love me again. And on the other hand, I feel terrified of the idea that I actually might end up with another woman who would, hurt me the way I've been hurt before. And I've had multiple women who have been not the nicest to me. But, my ex-wife, like I said, she just, at the very end of it, our son just turned into a fucking hostage and a weapon against me. To where I did everything I could to be the best father in the world, and at the end of the day, it just became an issue of, if we go into a divorce, I'm going to lose my son. And at that point, also, going despite that, I was such a sad, pathetic bastard that I was still in love with her to the point that I thought I could still help her. I could still fix things. Because after all, when I married her, I didn't know any of that shit was the case. I didn't know she had those fucking issues. I know it's one thing for me to say people have issues, because here's the thing. At least my shit is just fucking paranoia, severe depression, and just isolation, loneliness, low self-esteem, and just maybe some physical wellness issues. For one, I can't seem to be very strong or build much muscle. And I've never had much self-esteem. But it was a little bit worse with her. But at the end of the day, I did everything I could to keep my marriage together. Mainly because, one, I was still thinking about the person that she was pretending to be when we first got married. And thinking that was a real person. Person who I thought actually cared about me. But at the end of the day, didn't give a shit if I lived or died. It would have actually been a joke and she just would have laughed about it. And like I said, when I married her, I really did think. And looking back, I'm like, how dumb was I? How fucking stupid was I? Oh my fucking god. And it's just, I trusted her completely. I trusted her absolutely. She was my best friend in the world. I trusted her 100%. And I loved and cherished her. And I did everything in the world to give her all the love and affection in the world I could. And when I married her, I really felt that being asleep next to her would be the safest place in the whole world. Now, I actually feel that she's more terrifying than any creepypasta I've ever fucking listened to. When I married her, I felt that it was the safest place in the world, and that I could sleep soundly next to her. That it would be the safest place in the whole world. By the time it was a couple days after the divorce, and especially within 12 hours that she even went further beyond, making threats about disappearing with our son, even though we had gone for 50-50 custody, she made it very clear that she was going to disappear with him, and I was never going to see my son ever again. And even more so, her parents were terrified at it because they were seeing firsthand how she was being toward him. And so, before I was even aware of it, within a week of the divorce, her parents actually had a lawyer and papers already completely set up within a week of the divorce. And keep in mind, they didn't even find out about the divorce until about 2 days after the divorce after we had actually been officially divorced. It wasn't until 2 days after we were officially divorced that they even fucking found out. And within a week of the actual divorce, 5 days with them finding out, they already had a lawyer set up and the papers drawn up. And they actually pressured her to sign it, for them to be the custodial guardians of it, because they were threatening her with jail time for the way she was being to her own son. And the reason I signed it was because it became very clear to me that if I didn't sign that paper, when my son was next with her, he was going to be gone, and I would never, ever see him again. At best case scenario, he would grow up in a situation where he'd be neglected and abused and told that his dad is a monster. Worst case scenario, he'd be dead. So I signed the papers for him to live with his grandparents on his mom's side. Because although I didn't exactly get along with them very well, and I still have occasional disagreements with them, I'll at least say this. I know they love my son, and they take great care of him. And they keep him safe. And, he does his school okay, and they take care of him, and they treat him with kindness and respect. I at least know that my son will not be abused or neglected over there. And I at least know that he is safe, and that he won't just disappear, or I won't just find out one day that he is dead or gone forever. That he is okay, that he is safe, that he's happy, that he's in a place where he feels loved. I don't have to be scared that he's one day just going to be gone forever. And at least for a while, he was still coming over on the weekends. I would still have him come spend the night, and I'd be able to take him to the park, in the library, read him stories. Granted, I maybe spoiled a little bit, like gave him whatever he wanted to eat, and bought him whatever toys he wanted. And of course, I would take him to see the parents, his grandparents on my side, my parents. Granted, it's my mom and stepdad, but I consider my stepdad my real dad. But it's just, I've always done everything in my power, absolutely, just to be the best dad I could in the world to him. And at that point, it's just the best thing I could do to him is make sure that he didn't disappear forever. Because I didn't want to. It's such a terrifying thought. And at least I know when he's with them, he's safe. They're treating him well. He's not going to be neglected. He's not going to be abused. That being said, when the whole COVID pandemic hit, he stopped coming over. And it was, his grandparents' idea, on his mom's side. It was their idea for him to stop coming over due to the pandemic. When the governors all of a sudden started shutting down all the states, it was their idea to have him stop coming over because, one, all the COVID stuff and the lockdowns. And going beyond that was the issue of, I work in a place where I'm exposed to hundreds of people a day in close proximity. Hell, there's multiple times I've had to train people who had just recently had COVID to the point that they still have COVID. And I know sometimes that makes me uncomfortable, but it's part of the job. And so I agreed for him to stop coming over on the weekends at the start of all those lockdown things. Maybe once everyone's vaccinated and everything, he can start coming over again. Well, no, he will. It's just, like I said, I agreed to him not coming over just because I just don't want to take any chance of anything bad happening to him. I'm going to do everything in the world I can to protect him. I remember teaching him how to walk. I took him someplace where it was an indoor playground and it had super, super soft foam stuff in the kids area. And it was set up to look like a space station and had a bunch of little large space shuttles and half planets and stuff. And I remember, I'd be crawling around with him on all fours, playing tag with him. And he'd be giggling and laughing the whole time. And, and I'd just be able to play peekaboo with him and all sorts of things. And, of course, he eventually learned to walk with that. And the main thing I did with that is that, he could do it that way because at least if he were to fall or something, it was a safe place. He wouldn't get hurt. Granted, a lot of people felt I was a bit of a helicopter father that was, very overprotective of him. But I just wanted to do everything I could to keep him safe. And it's just, she was not good to him. And she was not good to me. And hell, sex eventually got a weird turn when it came to her, to the point that I was uncomfortable with the idea of sex with her. Because there was times that I would start fucking her, and she would start talking about how she would see the blood and gore covered of her ghost of her dead brother, because her brother was dead. And she would say that she was seeing the blood and gore covered ghost of her dead brother was watching us have sex. And I'm like, my dick is inside her vagina at this point. We are having sex. And, I feel like if I was on a random date with a girl, if I just met a girl at a bar, and I was in that situation, and that happened, my first reaction would be immediately pull my dick out and fucking run for my fucking life while keeping my eyes behind me. Because that is all kinds of level of batshit insane. But at the point where you're married, you live together, you've been together for years, and your son is sleeping in the next room, what the fuck do you do? What the fuck do you do when that situation fucking hits you? You're all of a sudden in a situation where it has become all too apparent that you have stuck your dick in crazy, and At that point, there is no running away. There is no fixing this. There is no... You can't just leave or divorce at that point. Because one, at that point, like I said, I'm such a sad, pathetic person, I still wanted to try to help her. Like, something's wrong here. But at the same time, I know if, at that point, if we get in a divorce or something, she's going to leave with my son. And as terrified I might feel at that thought of, being with her in that situation, losing my child because I couldn't face up to my partner being unstable and try to cope with it and try to make it better was something I wasn't willing to do. I wasn't going to just run away. At the same time, I really did think I could still help her. I still actually loved and cared for her at that point. She was still precious to me at that point. But eventually, after enough abuse and shit, that sort of kills the feelings. But at the end, it was still her that left me because she wanted to leave me for another man. Which, I'll be honest, I still cried my fucking eyes out when I found out about that. When she told me that she was leaving me for another guy. As much as I should have welcomed that as a fucking salvation, I'm sure as hell never going to thank the man who fucking did it. And hell, he basically ditched her a few days, if not a full week after the divorce, because at that point, she had basically told him that she was pregnant with his kid, and then when it turned out that wasn't true, or she had apparently maybe early miscarried with his kid, but at most she would have been only like 3 weeks pregnant with his kid. As soon as he found out that she wasn't pregnant, he fucking just, because he had seen enough of her at that point, especially the way she was behaving around me, that he fucking noped the fuck out. Because he was actually fucking scared of her at that point. Hell, even her parents are scared of her. And it's just... After the divorce, my son would come over and spend the weekends with me. But he has never, ever, ever gone over to any place that she's been at since the divorce. I mean, she is... Even her own parents are scared of her. And they sure as hell are not about to trust my son with her. And it's not out of spite or something for how she was toward me or them. It's due to the fact that she's done multiple things. That literally even her own parents are scared of her. And I'll say this. When I first married her, I felt it would be the safest place in the whole world. I thought it would be the safest place in the whole world. That I could sleep soundly and know that nothing in the whole world could ever threaten me because she would always, she would always stand against anything that would hurt me because I was apparently something that was precious in her sight. But apparently that kind of dark obsession that, like I said, men like to have affection and attention. They like someone to love them and put them first. But when it goes to this fucking extreme, this kind of psycho stalker obsession level, even if you're married, it can be a little fucking dark. Especially when this person wants to suddenly, like I said, the Crimson Grey, that fucking Yandere girl who was like wanting to kill people for even looking or talking at the guy funny, even she was completely sane and stable compared to her. I mean, and there's times where, she would be like, telling me that I shouldn't try to control her, that I was being too controlling. I don't think it's that controlling to tell her not to burn down a fucking federal building. Not to burn down buildings or burn down somebody's home and kill people. What the fuck are you thinking? Oh my god. But I'll say this. When I married her, I thought it was the safest place in the whole world. And yet, now I feel that even being asleep in the same building with her would be a death sentence. That I fully expect that if I were to sleep in the same building as her, that she would slit my throat in my sleep. Or that I would wake up with certain parts of my anatomy cut off. Hell, there was even one time, even after multiple times of trying to beg me back, one of her actual lines of dialogue to me was that I should take her back because she loved me so much that no matter how angry she was at me while I was asleep, that no matter how angry she was with me, and no matter how much she wanted to do it, that she never chose to actually crush my testicles while I was asleep. What the fuck? And that was supposed to be a line of logic trying to convince me to take her back? To show how loyal and devoted she was to me? What? Oh my god! What the fuck was I married to? And it's just, like I said, I really do feel like she is more scary than a fucking creepypasta at this point. And like I said, when I first married her, I thought it was the safest place in the whole world. I thought it would be the safest place in the world to be asleep next to her. Now I feel being asleep in the same building as her it's a death sentence. That I will not wake up. That if I were asleep in the same building as her, she will kill me in my sleep or mutilate my body in my sleep. And she is not trusted around my son because even her own parents are scared of her. I mean, they still talk to her. They still don't want her to, have too bad of a life out there. But my son would still come over and spend the weekend with me. He has never gone to spend a weekend with her. He has never gone anywhere alone with her or even to be around her around any of the guys that she's been with since me. It's just they don't trust her at all. They're even actually scared for their own safety around her. Let alone, her son. That being said, I haven't said shit to my son about her in regard to any of that stuff. And I don't plan to. Because when it comes right down to it, I know his grandparents will make sure that his safety is assured. That they will make sure that he's safe. After all, that was the whole reason why they went to a lawyer. So that within a week of the divorce, within like 5 days of them finding out, they already had papers ready for me to sign. So that all I had to do was sign the paper so that she wouldn't just disappear with my son to never be seen again. For him to live some sort of horrid nightmare. But they keep him safe. They take good care of him. He is safe where he's at. They love him. They treat him with respect. He doesn't get abused or neglected where he is. They do everything in the world. They maybe spoil him a bit, get him a ton of toys and stuff like that. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them spoiling him. He's happy, and I just want him to be happy and safe and have the best. And of course, like I said, he hasn't been coming over for quite a while, which is maybe exacerbating my own emotional deterioration and my sadness. But I care much more about his safety and not catching COVID and not getting ill than, about how much I miss him and how sad I feel. I can deal with my own fucking sadness and emotions if it means keeping him from getting sick. Because at the end of the day, regardless how it makes me feel, I just want him to be safe. I just want what's best for him. I love him dearly and I want to do anything in the world. And at least I think, hopefully as he gets older, he'll know that his dad loves and cares about him. I mean, I tell him all the time, at least any chance I get to, at least on face cam, that I love him, I'm proud of him. Though at least when he lived with me, I could give him hugs hundreds of times a day and tell him over and over how much I love him, that I'm proud of him, do everything in the world for him. But it's just... And I'll say this. When it comes to women, part of me is very lonely. Part of me's got such low self-esteem to the point that I call myself Cthulhu sometimes. Because I really do feel like that's how people look at me. That I'm apparently such a disgusting, deplorable person. At least when I wear the mask, when I do the live face chats, I wear the mask. So you guys don't have to be burdened by how fucking god ugly I am. Otherwise, anyone looks at my live face chats, you guys would probably just start vomiting at the side of my face. That being said, honestly, I'd rather be alone than be with someone like her again. And she's actually repeatedly tried since that point to beg me to take her back. She's tried. Hell, I'll usually get a message from her on my birthday where she's singing a little limerick to me. And it's a back and forth between her occasionally sending me a romantic picture and her sending me a threatening psychotic one. And I'm like, what the fucking hell? And of course, every now and then she messages me asking me who my new girlfriend is. Or trying to get pissed at me, calling me a man whore or some shit. Or say, oh yeah, make sure I don't take whatever woman I'm with around her son. Or even going as far as to saying that she's insistent that she's telling me that, oh, before I bring my girlfriend around her son, that I need to bring my girlfriend around and I have to introduce my girlfriend to her. And that she feels that any woman I'd ever have in a relationship with, she feels that I owe it to her to introduce any woman I get with to her. What the kind of fucking stupid bullshit insanity is that? Really, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? That is completely fucking insane. And of course, no. Hell no. Hell to fucking no. Hell, there's times that she's gotten with different guys, and she's like, hey, I'm with so-and-so now. He was thinking the three of us could go out for pizza. I am not going out as your fucking third wheel on the new guy that you are fucking... the new person you're with. And at one point she got pregnant by that guy, and she's like, oh, do you want to be a godfather? I'm like, fucking no! What the fuck? The fuck is wrong with you? But like I said, back to my son, I haven't said shit to him about the stuff with his mother, because at the end of the day, well, no! Like I said, when it comes to his safety and stuff, when it comes to that, I'll trust his grandparents to keep him safe with that. I know that they're much more sterner with that sort of stuff than I am. I'm just too much of a naive son of a bitch. Like, it's too easy to get for people to get my fucking guard down, no matter how fucking hyper-vigilant I am. I'm an overly kind person who just wants to be friends with everyone. And yet at the same time, like I said, my friend who does the fighting, he's been in hundreds of fights. He won every single one. He has a tendency to go sleepwalking with knives. There's times in which the police have found him walking down the side of like a country road with knives in his hands, and he's sleepwalking. But that's just him. The other thing is that, he is a little more wary of his sleep too, because he's had issues with that. But he doesn't put locks on his door. He just sleeps with knives under his pillow, to the point that if someone were to try to wake him up and he sleeps, he actually will try to stab them. I remember one time I was living with him, and it was a bit of a cabin in the woods sort of situation, and the house wasn't exactly very secure from the outside world. I mean, at one point we had to actually we had to melt snow in a frying pan to put water in the toilet tank so we could flush it, because there wasn't really running water. We actually, instead of a bathtub, like a running bathtub, we had the bathtub filled with a bunch of water jugs we'd fill in the city. There was no running water in the house. So we would actually just have a bunch of water jugs in the bathtub, sitting in milk jugs and the kind of stuff like old gas containers. We'd actually have to melt snow to be able to flush a fucking toilet because we didn't have running water. And of course, you just use a wood-burning stove to try to keep the place warm during the winter. That being said, there was one time a couple raccoons came in the house, and they went in his bedroom, under his bed. And I'm like at the door of his room, and I'm like, and I say his name, and he's like, what? I'm like, there's raccoons in your room. And he's like, so? There's raccoons in your room. And he's like, I'll get it when I wake up. I'm like, what? Just, what were you doing? I'm like, I was playing Minecraft in the living room. And the raccoons came in. I tried to mess with them with a broom. They got angry. And then they ran. I tried to get them outside. I failed. And then they ran in your bedroom. And he's like, it's okay. I'm like, the raccoons. He's like, it's okay. I'm like, do you want me to come in there and get them? They're raccoons. He's like, I'll get them when I wake up. Just go back to Minecraft. I'm like, okay. And so I did. And like 2 hours later, he comes out holding the fucking raccoons by the scruff of their necks and just fucking chucks them out the door like they're fucking nothing. I'm like, holy fucking shit! Buddy! The fucking hell! Damn! Like, no fucking shit's given! I'm like, damn! That's badass of you. But the main reason I mention him is because every fight he's been in, he won. He's tenacious, he's great at fighting, he's a great runner. I'm a terrible runner, I can't run worth a shit. The whole point of me having a weapon and a gun is that if a group of people were to choose to try to jump me now, I can't fucking outrun them, especially with all the hours I work at a fucking factory. My knees wouldn't be able to handle a fucking sprint. There's no way my knees would handle sprinting. I can't outrun anyone. I can't even run barely faster than a fucking jog at this point. My knees constantly feel pain. And I'm a terrible fighter. And even in the times where I've been out, like the one time I mentioned, where I had 5 people beating the fucking shit out of me behind a fucking, what is it, like a convenience store or some shit? I mean, they were fucking stomping on my head, knocking me head first into a brick wall, just beating the fucking shit out of me. One of them had a fucking bat. By the end of it, my right temple was like swelled out 2 inches to the right. I got the fucking shit kicked out of me for a better part, like what, half an hour, 40 minutes? I'm not even sure anymore. It's kind of hard to keep track of time when you're getting fucking stomped on in the face! But that being said, even with the little bit of fighting back I did with that, I still felt guilty. Like, there's a line between pacifism and just overwhelming depression where I feel like my life has no value, and I just sort of feel like I just want to give up a lot of times. And like I said, that's where me and that one friend kind of vary. With the people that hurt him, he was very violently and powerfully reactive. With the people that hurt me, I just sort of grit my teeth and bared it. It's 2 different types of coping mechanisms. I think his is better. And while it is something I wish to emulate, it might not be something I have in me. No matter how depressed or angry I feel, and no matter how much violent fantasies I have in my head while listening to like fucking Cradle of Filth and violent music, and no matter how much I'll play a violent video game like Grand Theft Auto or Mortal Kombat or Doom, it's just such an unthinkable thought to me to even hurt somebody else. Even in self-defense, it takes so much effort on my part to bring myself to hurt another human being. Because at the end of the day, that's still another human being. And at times, actually, all of my friends have said it. They feel I'm far too kind and gentle for my own good. There's a few times where I was a manager at some places, including restaurants, where a head manager said that he was happy with my work and he thought I was super kind to everyone. And I was really good at learning stuff and doing things, though I think my intelligence has dropped a lot since then. But, I mean, hell, I could do calculus and physics in high school, but I'm pretty sure I can't even do basic math or fractions anymore. And it's hard for me to remember certain basic things anymore. I really feel like my intelligence and memory are failing me a lot nowadays. Even my emotional ability to adapt. I had one general manager just tell me that his only issue with me is that I can't even be an asshole to people, that I'm too soft on the employees, that I need to be more strict. Hell, I did have one girlfriend I was with for half a year. It was I had 2 real long-term relationships. One was the wife I was married to. The other was the girl that I was girlfriend with. She was with me for like half a year. And she left me saying I was too nice to her. Though I think that maybe she had other reasons. Maybe she was just bored of me and wanted to be with other guys. But I think she was being nice to me. I think she was just trying to let me down in the gentlest way possible. But I'll say this. That during that whole relationship with her, I was super, super, super happy. I was the happiest any of my friends had ever seen me in my life. And I was all smiles and happiness toward everyone. And for once, it wasn't faked. It was sincere. I was completely happy and at ease. And I did everything I could to make that woman feel that I wouldn't take her for granted once. That she was special to me and I was thankful to have her in my life. And when that dumping occurred, I felt completely devastated. I know I talked my friends' ears off, a lot, including my one friend who's really good at the fighting, who does like the sleepwalking with the knives. I actually met him through her. He was actually a friend of hers, and I met him because of that girl. And when, that he was working at a gas station at that time, and I came up to him, told him what happened. I was like, help me fix this. I want to fix this relationship. What do I do? And he couldn't really do anything to help me do it, but I spent a lot of days walking up to that gas station and just standing inside his gas station, talking to him about my feelings and about how I felt about her and just everything, and just talking about video games and anime and stuff like that. And there was times I went over to his house to play Dungeons and Dragons. And honestly, me getting dumped by that girl and going to talk to him about how to fix it is how me and him really got to be friends, because before that point he was really just some guy I knew because he was friends with her. And it was just, I hadn't really known him that much, but something about him just felt almost like a kindred spirit. And I went to him, asking him advice, like, what do I do to fix this? How do I get my relationship back? And, of course, that relationship never got back. I haven't talked to that girl since maybe a couple years since I met the woman that would be my ex-wife. So that's been over a decade or something ago that last I talked to her. To that one girl I was with for half a year, who left me saying I was too nice to her. Which, like I said, maybe that was just her trying to be nice to me. Which, at the very least, I appreciate that she was trying to be nice to me. But I still felt devastated over it. And between that friend, who I went on to, eventually even live with for a while, it's just, I talked my friend's ears off. I couldn't stop talking. It's just, it was too much for me. I know, men aren't really supposed to talk about their feelings and cry. And a lot of my life, even despite all the bullying and shit I went through, I tried my best to just shoulder everything myself. To not, deal with that with other people. But when it came to that one breakup, it was just, it hurt too much. It was too much for me. And I just couldn't stop talking about how I felt. It's just, it was too much. I wouldn't be against being friends with that girl again. She was never abusive to me. She was always nice to me. I don't believe she ever cheated on me. Though, if she did, I would never know. But, she was never mean to me. She was never abusive to me. But my ex-wife? Hell no. I don't even want to be friends with her. I'm fucking terrified of her. But that being said, I haven't once said anything to my son about her. A couple times he would ever mention her, I say, it's okay, she loves you. Because he's still at that age. Granted, he's older now. He can ride a bicycle. He can... hell, he's at the age where, kids are messing with stuff like Roblox and Minecraft and cell phones. Even though I still think someone his age shouldn't have a phone. But it is what it is, right? And a Kindle and a tablet. And like I said, his grandparents tend to spoil him with that stuff. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them spoiling him. I want him to be happy. I want him to be happy. I would rather him be in a place where he's getting spoiled than one where he gets neglected. I want him to have what's best for him. I want him to be happy and safe. I don't want him to ever be in danger. But I would never tell him anything about his mom, about that sort of stuff. Because, one, not only is it inappropriate, but how on earth is that going to end? Imagine you find out your mom is a complete psychopath. That your mom is essentially a monster to be feared. That she wanted to basically run away with you and tell you that your dad was just horrible and a monster himself. Hell, she was telling people I was having fucking orgies. That I was like having 5-somes and 6-somes. I'm like, really? Really? Damn. Wow. I apparently have much better luck with landing the ladies in her fictional stories than I do in real life. Damn. I gotta ask fictional me for some advice. Not that I would ever want to fucking orgy, but I do watch hentai and porn of stuff like that. Hell, tentacle hentai. But I'm getting off topic. Main point is I wouldn't tell my son about that sort of stuff just because... Imagine you're a child. Imagine... I mean, even if you're going on being close to being a teenager, to find out that your mother doesn't give a shit about you or your father, that she uses people, that she is more likely to murder you. I mean, I'm an adult. I'm old enough and I have life experiences, and I am still fucking unsettled and scared of the situation. Even though I've been officially divorced for like, what, 4 years now at this point or something? I can't even keep track. And I'm an adult. I'm an adult, and it's just simply my ex-wife. Could you imagine from the perspective of being someone who's so young, and it's your mother? That would probably psychologically fuck him up for life. And I couldn't imagine what the psychological burden of something like that would have on him. I don't want to put him through that. I couldn't imagine how devastating or just awful that would be for him. Because like I said, for me as an adult and it being an ex-wife, that's one thing. But for him, he's younger. He's not an adult. And it's his own mother. I don't want to expose him to that. And like I said, at least in these videos and stuff, I can talk about the stuff that depresses the shit out of me. Because I don't want to talk to the people in the real world. I don't want to be crying at work or bitching about stuff there. And I don't want people at work to know about my traumas or my sadness or my fears or my paranoia. And most of all, I mean, I don't think it'd be good for me to go to work and talk about how I'm very depressed and how I'm, like, a lot of times constantly thinking about killing myself. Okay? I don't think that's good for work to know. That, hey, it's our happy, reliable worker. Oh, by the way, he's thinking about taking those machine parts right there and Marianning himself. I know I'm making reference to an early episode, but basically you're cutting my throat to the point of actually, removing my own fucking windpipe. Or just, hey, there's a train. I could jump in that. Or, what's the best way to tie a noose? Or shit like that. Now, that being said, if anyone out there is worried, no, I would never kill myself. Ever. I feel depressed at times, and sometimes I feel like things are hopeless, but no matter how sad I fucking feel about shit, I still value my life. And I still value my safety. And I will keep living no matter what. I am the fucking Terminator, okay? I don't care what the fuck happens to me. Whether it's people fucking beating the shit out of me, hurting me, doing bad things, me getting poisoned repeatedly, or getting deathly ill, or having brain swelling, or having heart issues, or having, other organ issues, or just my overwhelming feeling of worthlessness and feeling like everyone hates me and that I'm all alone in the world and that no one will ever love me and I'll never be able to find any shred of happiness, and that any partner I ever get with in the future, if anyone were to ever even find me attractive in the first fucking place, like, I'm always going to have that slight worry. Not that, oh, is she cheating on me behind my back, but is she going to kill me in my sleep? And yes, most people aren't going to be like that. But the fact that I've had to deal with at least one person who went to that fucking extreme is enough for me to be terrified of it for the rest of time. Especially given the fact that it was somebody that I trusted and believed in and had more faith in than any other human being I have ever met on the planet. I had more faith in her and more trust in her than any other human being I've ever met in the entire world ever. And she fucking shattered that. She betrayed everything of me and that our marriage and everything stood for. That everything I believed that was good in her, she destroyed. To the point that somebody that I loved and cherished, who I thought was the most beautiful woman in the world, who I thought I could trust, literally to me would be the equivalent of seeing the fucking Rake or Jeff the Killer. Like, it's literally how I would feel. That I feel that if I was in the fucking woods at night, or if I was in a fucking cemetery, I would feel more relieved to see Slender Man than I would be to her. If I had a choice between running into Slender Man in the woods or her, I would choose Slender Man. I would feel safer with Slender Man than her. I would feel more fear and terror seeing her in the woods at night than I would ever feel seeing Slender Man. And that's just... that's an emotional roadblock I'm not really sure how to overcome. But it's not exactly something I'm going to tell a partner. Hell, I've been dealing with depression most of my life. And of course, lots of things have happened that compounded said depression. And of course, the events of, the divorce, and 2020 exactly wasn't a great year. And then of course, there's more shit going on, to the point that my depression, I'm still really fucking depressed. But like I said, I would never actually kill myself. I've never hurt myself. I've never tried to hurt myself. I've never tried to kill myself. I value my life. And I would never hurt anyone else. But I'll say this. Even though I have dealt with a bit of depression my whole life, I have kept that to myself. Like that one girl I was with for even half a year, I never said a fucking word to her about my depression. I kept that fucking hidden. Any date or relationship I've ever been in, even the short-term relationships, I've kept that shit hidden. If you're in a relationship with someone, you don't tell them, hey, if they're notice you feel a little down, you say, oh no, I was just thinking about something, and you bring up an idea for a recipe for how to cook a certain type of chili, or how to prepare a fish a certain way. But in reality, you actually are lying to her, because in your head you were just thinking about killing yourself. But you don't say that to someone. You don't tell people that. You don't tell people that you're feeling suicidal. You don't tell people you're super depressed. Now that being said, that's how I feel about it. If someone out there feels that way, and you probably should tell someone, I'm just a stubborn son of a bitch. I don't like going to other people complaining about the shit. That's why a lot of my life I had shit bottled up. That being said, when I had that one breakup with that one girl I was with for 6 months, who was never bad to me, I really loved her. And for her to just dump me like that, I felt devastated, and I couldn't cope. So I talked my friends' ears off about my feelings nonstop, perhaps to the point that I probably annoyed the shit out of them. And while I'm sorry about that, I couldn't help it. I was devastated. I couldn't cope. I was emotionally distraught. So I couldn't stop talking about how I felt. That's all I could think about nonstop, and I couldn't bottle it up anymore. That being said, like I said, any relationship, I don't tell my partner that I'm depressed. I don't tell my partner I think about suicidal thoughts. I don't tell my partner that I sometimes worry about the people on the street trying to kill me. That's mainly because I've had issues where I'd be walking in the middle of the street and people would try to hurt me. I even had a group of gang members came up to me one time, get angry at me for not stabbing them. I don't even understand any of that situation at all still. And I still think back on that I feel confused. Why would people get angry at me for not stabbing them? What is happening? I don't understand. What? Doesn't make sense. Then, of course, I'm kind of overly kind person. There's sometimes I've gone to concerts and, there was a drunk guy following in the street. And I would keep going in the street and picking the drunk person up. It was some like really skinny black guy. I didn't know him at all. Perhaps not the safest thing to go to some random homeless guy and pick him out in the street. But he was drunk off his ass and there were cars coming. If I just left him be, he was going to get run over. I couldn't just very well let the man die. Yes, I understand it's a risk to my safety, and it was really dumb on my part, but I couldn't just let him die. Yes, I don't know him. Yes, it wouldn't have affected my life at all to just let him die in that fucking gutter. But how can I just stand by and see somebody that's that badly off and just let them die? How can I not save them? It's just... I don't want work or anything to know that I'm depressed, that I think about these things, that I'm sad. I can deal with it. And of course, as I have done in all of my relationships, I've hidden that I'm depressed. I've hidden that I think suicidal thoughts. Because they don't need to know. Plus, I'm pretty sure most women would not be okay with that, with somebody being that depressed and sad over past traumas. On top of that, I also feel like it's some degree of pressure on them. That, I mean, what if I'm in a relationship and I were to tell them that I feel suicidal? Not only does that make them uncomfortable, but now they feel that if they break up with me, that, you know, like, oh, they have to stay with me because of blah, 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 blah. And I don't want that. I don't want some sort of pity or someone to just be with me because they're worried about that I'm just too fragile to handle shit. I want someone to be with me because they actually care about me, because they value my companionship, because they miss me, because they actually care about me, about my thoughts and my feelings. They'd actually be sad if I was dead, not because they're worried about, you know, how fragile I am. I don't want somebody's fucking pity. I want someone to respect me. I want to be respected and cared about and treated with love and kindness. It's just... I just don't want work to know that I'm dealing with this depression. And if I get in any relationship, if I ever meet a woman who actually finds me attractive again, I'll do what I've always done and hidden the fact that I feel depressed and suicidal from her. Because why the hell would you tell your date that shit? I'll say this. I've never told any relationship partner I've ever been with about these feelings, about my depression, about the sadness I feel about stuff. Because that's not what a relationship's for. It's about being together with someone to share each other's friendship and joy for each other. I'm not going to burden somebody else with just how broken I feel inside. I don't want to put that on somebody else. And I don't want to put that on my work. I don't want the people at work to think of me as the super depressed guy who might kill himself someday. To where they might think, oh, so-and-so didn't show up to work. Maybe he killed himself. Like, I don't want people to be thinking that. Like I said, as is, everyone thinks I'm the most cheerful, optimistic, happy person they ever met in their life. I got a fucking smile plastered on my face whenever I talk to anyone, and I talk in the most nonchalant, happy, pleasing tone to anyone, basically trying to be the most happy, non-aggressive person that anyone has ever met in their life. But I'll say this, my friend who's good at fighting, he's been in hundreds of fights. He's never lost a single fight. Me, I've been in like 10 times more fights than him. I've lost every single one. Sometimes with 5, sometimes 10 more people beating the fucking shit out of me. Hell, I remember there were certain times in school, like during one of those auditorium things, where somebody actually came up to me and would drop kick me in the back of the knees. And we'd have 3 grades worth of people, close to several hundred people, laugh at me, finding it hilarious that I just got drop kicked. Like, what else makes it more clear that people hate you? I've had people try to gouge my fucking eyes out before. Actually come at me with a pencil, a bent paper clip, and try to shove shit into my eye. To try to stab out my eyeballs. So excuse me if I feel a little worried about people might suddenly run up to me to try to hurt me when I've actually had it happen multiple times. When I've had people throw shit out the windows of their cars at me. When I've had people in public buildings and like Walmarts and stuff actually walk up to me out of the blue and start physically attacking me. So sorry if I've gotten the use that after having it happen over and over and over again, that I've learned to expect it. But I've also gotten really good at hiding that fear, hiding that paranoia, and hiding the sadness and anger I feel. Especially if someone starts talking shit to me, especially at certain jobs where I've had, someone higher than me, just talk down to me and say the most just rude ass shit to me. I'm very good at hiding that I feel angry. And just putting a smile on my face and saying, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'll do better. I'm sorry. I'll do better. Because at the end of the day, that's what you got to do to pay rent. And so that people don't realize how you actually feel. Now, that being said, yes, I'm super polite to everyone. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of the naive, overly nice soul that I want to be friends with everyone. But it's also the feeling that nobody wants to be my friend. And everyone hates me and finds me disgusting. And that they all want me to die. And they all want to be the one to do it. So, a lot of conflicting feelings there. I should check the recording. I've been talking for a few minutes. How the fucking hell? 3 hours! Okay, I said I'd never go over 3 hours, so I should definitely stop it here. I'm sorry for going this long. I should definitely save and quit. I'm sorry. How the fuck did I talk that long? I'm really, really sorry. Holy shit. Okay, I'm still talking. I need to push stop. Okay, bye guys. I would say I hope you guys have a good day, but I think I talked longer than the 10 minutes I thought I did. I know I stayed at the screen for a while, but I thought I was just talking for 10 minutes. How did this much time go by? Holy shit. I'm still talking, by the way. Like I said, I talked my friend's ears off when I felt emotional about stuff. So at least that's something good. I mean, I would never actually kill myself. I would never hurt myself, and I would never go out and hurt other people. The worst I'm going to do is walk up to someone and talk their ear off and talk about my feelings like the stupid bitch I am. But at least I do good about that. I mean, I don't talk about my feelings at work. I don't cry at work, even though I feel like I want to curl up in a ball and die half the fucking time, or I feel like there's no fucking point to going on anymore. But the main point is this. I'm very good at pretending to be happy so that the people at work think I'm happy. So that people can't tell I'm depressed. I don't want people to know I'm depressed. Same thing when I go on dates and stuff. Granted, I haven't been on a date in about fucking forever now. But I'm just saying, if I were to get a date, or even a girlfriend, or even a long-term girlfriend, hell, even if I were to get a girlfriend that I could completely trust, who I think I can trust, who loves me, and even if I get to the point that I love that person, I will never tell that person that I'm depressed. I will never tell that person that I think suicidal thoughts. And I will never tell them that I've had exes who have been abusive to me. Because, I mean, it's hard enough as a guy to admit that you've had girlfriends or even a wife who was abusive verbally and physically to you. It's another thing to tell people, especially a partner, that. I don't want people to know that shit. And certainly if I get a girlfriend, I'm not going to tell said girlfriend that I'm depressed or I'm suicidal or sometimes some days are just really hard for me just to get out of bed. Some days I just don't want to be around anyone. Some days are just very, very hard. Some days are just bad. They are bad. But it's just, I'm not going to tell somebody that. If I have a girlfriend or a date, I'm not going to bring that up. I'm not going to mention that to them. If I get a girlfriend, like say somehow later today, if I were to meet a beautiful woman who's super kind and gentle, who loves me, hopefully doesn't love me immediately, because that'd be kind of weird because that's not how love works. But you guys get what I mean. If I actually meet with a good person who actually cares about me and actually have a good, healthy relationship with a girlfriend, and even if I'm with her for years, even if I get a girlfriend I'm with for years, I'm not going to tell her I'm depressed. I'm going to hide that from her. I'm not going to tell her that I'm suicidal sometimes, or that some days there are sometimes I feel anxiety attacks, or even straight up fucking panic attacks at work. Sometimes for no reason. Sometimes it'll get to the point that my arms are shaking a little bit. But I can usually eat an extra candy bar and force my body to stop. Beyond that, there's sometimes I really do feel like straight up panic attacks and just full on just freaked out at work. But I ignore it. I stay calm, I stay quiet, I stay nice and collected with everyone. I don't change the tone of my voice with them, and I be very careful with all my facial features, my body language, and how I speak and the words I use, so that it can't be noticed that I'm freaking the fuck out and I need to just sit in a fucking corner because I'm having trouble coping with how I feel emotionally. Sometimes about stuff that's happened that I actually am actively upset about. Other times, there is no reason, there is no trigger, there is nothing on my mind that should be causing me to feel that way, and yet there are sometimes all of a sudden it just clicks, and it's just full-on fucking panic attack, and I'm freaking the fuck out, and I'm not going to show people that. I'm going to pretend it's not happening, and I'm going to keep doing my job, and it'll be fine. But, yeah, I'm not going to tell if I'm in a relationship with a girl, I'm going to hide that from her. It's kind of like most guys have on their phones where they're going to hide that they're cheating on a girl. Not with me. I've never cheated on a girl. I've never cheated on a partner. I'll say this. If I'm hiding something on my phone from a girl, I'm not hiding other girls texting me. I'm not hiding infidelity. I'm hiding searches about suicidal things. I'm hiding searches about dealing with depression. I'm hiding stuff about how to deal with abuse. I'm hiding stuff about bad things that have happened to me. I'm not hiding an infidelity. I'm not hiding that I'm cheating or talking to some girl. I'm hiding depression. So if I'm with a girl, if I have a girlfriend and if I ever get a girlfriend, and even if we get really serious, I'm going to hide from her that I'm depressed. The same way I've done with all relationships. Every partner I've ever been with, I have hidden from them my depression and suicidal feelings. I have hidden that stuff. And that's not going to change. Any girlfriend I get in the future, if by some miracle I might manage to get a girlfriend, though I do feel like that's hopeless, I really do feel like I'm never going to find anyone else for the rest of my life, and I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life, and no one will ever be capable of loving me ever again. But even if by some miracle that were to happen, and even if I'm with that person for years, and even if I trust that person 106%, I am going to hide from that person my depression. I am going to hide from that person my suicidal thoughts. I am going to hide from that person that I've had partners, including an ex-wife, who were verbally and physically abusive to me. I am going to hide from them my anxiety attacks and my panic attacks. That's just not something I want to share with people. But at least with the anonymity of the internet, I don't have to have that filter. I can admit to all of you about how sad and fucked up I feel inside. And about how bad some days are. But for hopefully most of these videos, it's me just joking about playing Binding of Isaac, and you guys seeing me trying to dodge an attack and just cussing at it and saying, fuck that stupid bird flying and shit. And you guys get a laugh at it like with JonTron and Ultra J-Man and Tear of Grace. But I guess there's some days that no matter how much I want to avoid going on these tangents, I mean, this part of me is still me. Granted, it's a side that you guys out there get to see that no one else in the world gets to see. Because I don't have to fake being happy in front of all of you. I'll see you guys in the next video. I should save this. I should stop the recording and upload it, and I could delete it. I did talk for a while. Went on for a long while. This would be a boring ass video. But I might delete it. I mean, at least I wasn't crying or anything. But like I said, at least with you guys, I don't have to filter shit. I can just say whatever I think. I don't have to stop and try to filter it, worrying about, like, oh no, now I have to deal with everyone at work knowing that I'm depressed. No. I can just be me. I can just be my own. I can just be who I am. I don't have to pretend to be happy here. Well, I hope everyone had a good day. I'm sorry I rambled on for a while. I really thought I only was talking for 10 minutes. And now it's 3 hours and 10 minutes. Holy shit. I'm sorry it went so long. Like I said, I talked my friends' ears off in the past when I got too upset. At least that's the worst thing I'm ever going to do. If I ever were to lose control, I'm just going to walk up to people in public and just start talking about inappropriate things. So, I'm not going to hurt people. I'm just going to annoy the shit out of them. So, but yeah, I hope everyone out there has a good day. Bye.